Hi there, welcome to this video where I'm going to share with you some tips on how to plan your final project for your bachelor. So let's start with stage 1, planning the plan. Before you start planning your project, you need to plan. This means getting a draft together and figuring out the fixed deadlines from your university. Maybe thinking about how many hours a week you can realistically dedicate. Think about your exam periods or any holidays that might affect your schedule. From this you can work out the total number of hours you have in the project. Moving on to stage 2. The end is a great place to be. You need to know what the final product should look like, so it's important to review the mark scheme early on and understand what is expected. Do they want a specific word count? 10,000 words? 100,000 words? It makes a massive difference in how much time you give to the subsection of your plan. What are the requirements for data points? Maybe you need to give really good error estimation. Knowing that early in advance means to prepare to collect the data that you get the top grade. Understanding this all at the beginning will help you plan your project. Next, stage 3. Please will you do my survey? If your project involves experiments, surveys, or any activity which requires ethical or health and safety approval, or maybe you need lab time to factor in, you really need to think about how long is it going to take to get the necessary approvals, and also how long is your experiment going to take to run. This will give you ample time to analyze the results and then incorporate them into your project. If you delay on this, it might end up being that you're having to do your write-up and do your lab work all at the same time. So try and work around those periods where you have lab access or survey access or whatever. Stage 4, supervisor meeting. You're going to want to pencil these in. I would suggest a regular time. If your supervisor can't do that, then obviously make adjustments, but meeting with your supervisor is crucial to keep your project on track. Setting aside at least 20 minutes a week to discuss your project, ask questions, seek guidance, clarify things in the mark scheme, is really crucial for your development. Also, it's really important to remember, even if you've not made any progress that week, still go to your supervisor meeting. They're there to help you make progress, not to assess on whether you're making progress. Stage 5, filling in the details. This is where you're going to break down your project into specific tasks and assign them a timeline. It's important to include tasks like mark scheme checks, reading time, data collection, or any other things that you're going to have to do. This will give you a clear idea of what needs to be done, when, what order do these things need to happen in, and this will help you reduce your stress when you're actually working on one task, because you won't be thinking, well, what if I have other stuff to do and I need to get it all done now, and if I don't do it now then it'll never get done. It can really help to reduce that kind of panic if you have a clear timeline and a clear do this and that, like a recipe for your research project, and it will really help that you ensure you meet your deadline. Stage 6 is kind of optional, aesthetics. While it's not necessary, making your plan visually appealing and easy to read can make it more effective. Using tools like visual plan makers is not something I would advise depending on the structure of your research project. There's no point shoehorning your project into this really nice aesthetic plan if it means compromising the quality of the plan. But you can use things like color schemes or whatever it is that you want to make it look nice. I would recommend using a Gantt chart for your bachelor's project. I think it works quite well for the amount of research you have to do. But yeah, you can do whatever you want, have fun with it. The other thing I would recommend is your plan is going to need to be a little bit adaptable. So if you've made your plan really lovely and you've done it all on paper, if you need to make any amendments, you're going to have to ruin your lovely plan, and I would just recommend doing it on something digital if making edits to a paper plan is going to bother you. You might like the aesthetic of that, although it might look nice. So finally, stage 7. I'm only 2 weeks in and my plan is already completely wrong. Remember, your plan is meant to be adaptable. You need to adjust it as you go along, and that's okay. You are doing your project for the very first time, for the majority of people who do their final project. You don't know how long it's going to take you. It could be that you read twice as quickly as you thought, but your write-up takes 3 times as long. Don't feel bad if your predictions about how long tasks take you are wrong. Just adjust your plan until it represents how long things actually take you and still meets those core deadlines that you've got from your core plan. So I think that's about everything that I wanted to say on, planning your bachelor's project. It's really important, just have something laid out that you can follow along with, different tasks, and change your plan up as you go. If you find out more information, add it onto the plan, add on more detail. Don't try and make it all completely filled in at the beginning because it's very difficult, especially with research where it can evolve as you go. You're going to want to have a starting plan, which is, your core plan, and then build on it as time goes by. By about halfway through the project, you should have all of those details mapped out, but that you've got to be a little bit adaptable. I personally like having little error bars on each of my tasks, so that I can know that even if I overrun by 1 or 2 days by my deadline or a week, it's not going to affect overall because the project is adaptable. I hope that helped. Good luck with your projects if you're starting them soon or if you're already on the way. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Goodbye.